Well, hello, good people. I'm Dr. L.
And I'm Ricky too.
And today, Ricky too really wanted to talk about something that he enjoys. But I'm gonna let you take the lead.
Yeah, so all I like doing is very, very unique against me. Every time since I was younger, I always like to mimic or draw stuff what I see. Like, I'll say with the beckoning with my favorite statue of all times, I used to draw it every single day.
Right. And the beckoning is a statue by Albert Paley.
By Albert Paley in National Harbor.
In National Harbor. And one day we were coming from choir rehearsal, and he saw it on our way to McDonald's, and he was fascinated by it. So I had to drive around it over and over and over again. And you put it to memory, and then you would go home and you would just draw it everywhere.
And guess what? It even made a model out of straws, remember?
You did, and you called it the imagination. Oh, and you remember when you did it? I posted it on Facebook, and Albert Paley saw it, and he sent you the book of all his statues.
Yeah.
And you had that book. You used that book until the pages started to fall out.
Yeah.
And then I think the next thing that you mimicked was the Power Tower?
Yeah, the Power Tower. And I used to make that thing out of blocks.
Mm-hmm. So there's a power tower that you could see from our house.
Television tower. It's like...
Yeah, it was like a television tower.
It's like right across from... It's like behind the H Mart.
Yeah, it's behind H Mart. And we could see it from the distance because it was so tall.
Yeah.
And we would drive there.
And my favorite feature was the cables.
Oh, because I noticed in all your pictures, you would draw the cables going down.
Yeah.
What was so interesting about those towers and those sculptures for you?
This made me feel good, and I think one time I actually drew a couple of months ago. I actually drew the whole entire skate park.
Oh, because the skate park makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So things that make you feel good, what do you put them to memory and then put them on paper?
Yeah, put them to memory, put it on paper.
Yeah, because he's a very skilled artist.
And I used to draw roller coaster. And I think last year, maybe in a couple months, almost to a year ago, I actually drew a whole bunch of roller coasters.
Mm-hmm. And you went one step further with the roller coasters. In addition to drawing them, he would then make roller coaster simulations on what are the computer programs you use for that?
Is it PC?
Yeah. It was.
What's the game called?
Yeah.
It was called Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster. Because I was going to say Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I think that was the first one, right?
Yeah. It used to be Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, but now it's called Planet Coaster.
Okay.
Because the first time I actually got interested in it was the go-karts on it.
Was the go-karts.
Because since it looks so real and you can turn upwards, that's why I got interested in it.
Right. So he would find places that make him happy. And then he and his dad, they would go to different amusement parks. They would travel all over the U.S. and just go to various amusement parks. And he would come home and he would then recreate the park in these computer applications.
Yeah, and sometimes I might make the exact same parks that I see in real life.
Right. And so I don't know how his magnificent brain does that, but he would see things and then he would mimic them or replicate them.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because one, I can either do it all by memory or even have Google Maps or Google Earth to help me.
Oh, that's so you actually you put in the location of
I put the location. I see like a up view of it, and I just
aerial view,
like an aerial view.
And
I just copy the blueprints of it.
I didn't know that. I learned something new. My brain just expanded. I didn't know that. So, wow, how did you figure that out?
So how I figured that out?
Yeah, to go to Google Earth to do that.
Guys, if it's something I really like, I actually like to just go to the maps and just draw or reconfigure it.
Interesting. Do you do that with the skate park as well?
I did it with the Google map, but in person view instead of aerial view.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, that's one of the things that Ricky too has enjoyed, and that was one of the gifts that I noticed very early on. So as a young child, I would put him like through the recreation centers in our county. I would put him in various art classes, and then for after school activities, I would then enroll him in classes where he got an opportunity to do art, and he would do like perspective with Miss Mingo and stuff like that. And that helped you when it came time to draw things to scale. One of the things that I learned as a young mother, instead of doing ABA, we did floor time with a licensed clinical social worker. And one of the things that I learned there that I've used throughout my time parenting Ricky too is to teach from the inside out. So we would always find what Ricky 2's interests were, and we would use his interests to teach. So if Ricky 2 was into roller coasters, we would just travel various places and go to roller coasters. If he was interested in water parks, we would then travel to water parks. If he was interested in a statue, we would then travel and look at statues. We would have him go to sculpting classes. And
yeah, I think I actually went to a sculpting class, like, I'll say like a sculpting class, like I'll say like maybe in like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're about right. Actually, it was about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
But you were a young guy and you did that, and then from there you went into pottery. So with that, parents, one of the things that you can do with your child on the spectrum is when they're young, look at the things that interest them and see if you can foster that interest. Because once you foster that interest, you then have this space in which, you know, your child feels comfortable, and you can then learn about your child while you're doing that thing, as opposed to saying, I think children at this age should be interested in this. So while other kids were playing t-ball, Ricky 2 was making sculptures.
And also, I think I'll say like a couple of years ago, like I was in kindergarten, there was like a box, and remember that cake I used to make?
Cake?
I got it for Christmas, and I made like a cake out of like crafts and stuff. There was like a
Oh, yeah.
crafting kit, and I made it, and on top of it, and there was like a big box that came in, and on top of the big box, I made the beckoning on top of it.
Yeah, you would just find different ways to replicate it. Like, again, I never asked questions as to like why this as opposed to this. I would just accept that that was his interest, and I would just move with it, because again, I'm not the expert on autism. I'm the expert on loving someone with autism, and I just wanted to watch him grow and develop, and I wanted to do whatever I could to foster his interest. And from there, you know, now as a teenager, you're in band and you do art, so all of those things kind of just came together with age. So follow your child's interests and, you know, just watch them grow and develop. Yeah, that was Echo talking.
Yeah. What you shouldn't do.
Well, she's telling me I got a package. With that, we're going to go get our package. And we have enjoyed talking and sharing with you all again. And we do hope that you are gleaning some things that are useful for your family from the experience that we've had as a family. And with that, we're going to say bye.
Bye.
Boom.